Hey guys, it's Jen from Peter IX. So this morning I posted in my community tab on YouTube. I wanted to know what you guys have found new at the drugstore. What do you think I should be trying on my channel? I was out this morning with Lou and I decided to pick a few things up. And the things that caught my eye first were things that I did see out in the past week or two, and I was thinking of picking up already, but I just didn't bite the bullet, so I decided, since I saw it again from you guys, that was my sign to try it. So the first things were from L'Oreal, and it was the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation and Concealer. And what stopped me last time was I'm always confused by their shade range. It always looks very warm, and they never list like undertones like other brands do. I'm not alone here when I say, well, drugstore stuff is not cheap anymore, okay? This foundation was like $16 at Walgreens. Drugstore my ass. And the concealer was like $13, I think, something like that. Anyway, but they were having a sale at Walgreens where it was like buy two cosmetics and get the third free. So I got the shade Golden Ivory 20. Kind of looked okay, but I feel like it's going to be warm. And I got the shade Ivory for the concealer. Again, all of these could be wrong. I don't know. Then I went and tried another product somebody recommended. This is the Almay Healthy Hue Blush in So Peachy. I love blush. Then I found something else somebody recommended. I'm not a big Twitter person. Actually, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I am big on Twitter, but I have a burner account that I use. My main, like my YouTube Twitter account, I'm not very present on. I'm on there sometimes, but I have a burner account that I use that nobody knows who I am. I'm very vocal on there, but you don't know it's me. I have a lot to say, but I'm not ready to be me on there yet. I know that's kind of shitty, but I don't care. Anyway, that's not what this is about. On my YouTube Twitter account on there, I just recently made a friend, and he had posted, and this is a really interesting thing. What are you turned off by when it comes to cosmetics? Like what, I can't remember how he worded it, but like what aesthetically turns you off with makeup? For me, it's negative space. If a palette has unused, weird negative space, I'll put something on the screen to describe what I'm talking about. That turns me off. This also turns me off, and Maybelline has done this before. I'll put a picture on the screen. The way their shadows lay in this specific palette makes me just run for the hills. So somebody recommended this palette, the Nudes of New York Maybelline palette. I hadn't seen this before, but I saw it today when I was looking through the makeup. And I was pleasantly surprised of how this looks very unlike their other palettes. And I literally mean just how these pans are laying so nicely in this palette. I know that's very strange of how I'm saying this, but they're laying so basic and normally in this palette. They're settled very nicely. They're not too close to the top. Do you know what I'm saying? You probably don't. Maybe you do. I don't know. But they're laying so normally, unlike that picture I just showed you, how they're so close to the top and almost overflowing out of the pans. It bothers me so much, that other picture. These are just laying so nice and they look smooth. I don't know, but I'm gonna try this today. The other person who recommended this really liked this palette. And it kind of reminds me of this Too Faced palette. Like they kind of look similar. But I don't even know when the last time I tried a Maybelline palette was, so I thought, sure. And I got this one at CVS today and I got $3 off of it. It was $10. So I also got the, I feel like these are newer. This is the Baked Highlighter in Dolce Perla from Milani. Someone just talked about these. I don't think anybody recommended this. I know Milani has some new stuff. They have new lip glosses and new shadow topper, no, new highlighters, but they're holographic ones or something. I didn't see them anywhere, and honestly, they're not colors that would suit me. And I think that's all the new stuff I have out. But Samantha Ravndahl, I'm not really into glosses, but Samantha Ravndahl and Raw Beauty Kristi made me want to try this lip gloss. This is in the shade Flat White from Bite Beauty, from their French press line. I think this is discontinued, but I found this at Marshall's for like $5. It wasn't used, it wasn't opened, it's still clean all the way down to this rim, which means nobody pulled it out. I found it, I got 2 of them, we're trying it today. Sorry, that was an annoyingly long intro. I think we're gonna start with Heroine right here. We'll call it like a latte. And I put up that mirror I got from that Lorella mystery box. And I actually really like it, but it's kind of wide, so it's kind of getting in the way of reaching back and dealing with my camera that's right behind it. It's a good mirror though. Now we're gonna go in with Creator, that's right down here. Just timeout. This is my Scott Barnes 62 brush. Tati like raved about this. I've heard a bunch of people rave about this. I don't get it. I've used this like 10 times. I don't get it. I don't get it. Go with my Smith 230 brush. And I think we're gonna go into Self Starter right here, which is like just kind of a neutral brown. He's going pretty nicely. Blending really well, it's good pigmentation. Do my Smith 235, and let's go into Voyager, which is right here, which is just slightly warmer than this shade right here. And I'm gonna put that into the crease, and we're gonna kind of work it down into the V right here. And lately I've kind of just been doing all matte eyes, but because we have some metallics in here, we're gonna put some of them over the eyes. And I'm gonna stop halfway with this shade and leave the rest of it blank just to throw a metallic on just to see how it works. I'm gonna go back in with this fluffy Smith 232, and I'm gonna take that Heroine shade again, put a tiny bit, and re-blend the crease just to smoke it out a little bit. Again, Maybelline shadows, just palettes, just never interested me. Something about them always just kind of turned me off. They just never drew me in. So I can't say whether this is an improvement from their formulas from before because I just never tried them. But this is, from what I can tell, is a very nice palette. I'm gonna take my finger and go into the Fighter shade right here. You all right, Rox? I'm gonna put that, again, I mean, it would probably work better if it was like on some wet kind of, or any kind of base, honestly. But I like to see how it performs on its own. Just, I'm gonna go right next to it to Inspire. Put some of that on. It's nothing particularly great either. All right, I'm gonna go to Dreamer, and I'm actually just gonna try to put that right on top of the one I just did, because that was like almost nothing. Yeah, that's much better actually. Maybe I should just go over it with matte. Maybe I can actually just get away with topping the matte shades on it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back in and cover it with that matte shade that I did to begin with. The metallics weren't really doing any favors, just like on their own. I feel like if you put like a base down, you probably get better payoff, but I think the metallic just was taking away instead of adding to it. And I think because I have such hooded lids, I think unless I'm gonna put like a sticky base down, which I'm just not in the mood to do, I don't think metallics do much for me without it. So let me go do this eye off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll do the foundation, concealer, and the rest. BRB. All right, so we're using the e.l.f. sponge because Pip got a hold of my Wet n Wild sponge and tacked it, and it's now holy and not in the religious way. Instead of opening a new one, I figured this e.l.f. one is already open and it's pretty good, so let's get into this. Again, I have the shade Golden Ivory. The undertones, again, were weird. Like, they all just seemed warm. It was like rose or golden or beige. Like, there was no neutral anything. And online, I couldn't find any undertones. Instagram had nothing. So I'm like, come the fuck on, L'Oreal. Get it together. So yeah, so I have Golden Ivory 20 and Ivory, which was like the lightest shade. Seems okay. I don't know. I don't know. So we're shaking up. Put it on my plate here. I mean, the color seems okay. I mean, it definitely seems warm, but it doesn't seem hideously warm. So let's give this a try. It seems okay. I like using the side of this. This like seems to put circle stamps on my face. So the side just seems to work a little bit better. I'll list the claims on the screen. I didn't even look them up. But as I was looking at the display, like it does say radiant, so I'm assuming it's not gonna be matte or anything. But the women on the display were definitely of older maturity. Like they look to be in their like maybe 50s, even 60s maybe. But I'm not 20, so I mean, I definitely have, you know, crow's feet, wrinkles around my eye area. So I'm definitely maturer. I'm not in college, or that doesn't mean anything. You could be older and go to college, but I'm not, you know, a teenager or in my 20s or anything. I'm definitely getting older, so I'm of mature age. That's very pretty, actually. Honestly, I like anything that says radiant on it, so I could give a shit what age range this is for. I'll zoom you in when I'm done applying everything. The shade match actually kind of seems okay. We'll see how like my powder and everything sits on top of it. This is definitely not like a full coverage foundation. I mean, you can see a lot of stuff through this. Alright, so let's go into concealer. Again, this is Ivory. Oh no, this is crazy light. Shit. Use my e.l.f. concealer sponge. Ugh. Normally I'm a less is more with concealer, but that didn't seem to do anything. Now this side, I have an extra like big wrinkle right here. So that's usually the side that always creases the worst. It's actually really nice. It is not full coverage. I always have to set under my eyes. I mean, it's definitely radiant. It's not full coverage, like I said. It does look nice, but I don't love it. It looks kind of oily. Let's set everything real quick to see how a little bit of powder lays on top of everything. I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Halo powder. Now I'm just lightly setting. There's not a ton of powder on my brush. All right, let me set the rest of my face. And you know what? I'm actually gonna use a non-glowy powder. Like this isn't like a shimmery powder, but like there's some glowiness to it. So I'm gonna use my Ciate London. It's not a matte powder, but it's like, it's not a glowy powder. So I guess it is a matte powder. But same thing, I don't have a lot of, there's not much powder. Like there's not, I don't go crazy. All right, so that definitely toned down the radiance, which isn't a bad thing because it was actually kind of oily looking. Let me go off camera. Now, do like my liner, smoke out the rest of my shadow, and then I will do an end of the day update picture for you to see how everything held up after however many hours. So, BRB. All right, next let's do the Almay Healthy Hue blush, and I have the shade So Peachy, which is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. It looks like it's matte. Ugh, this is so my shade. And we're gonna use my Sigma F40 brush. It's perfection. I don't think I've ever used Almay products, like ever. And I love these kind of, I don't know why I love these, but I do. Almay just always seems really boring for some reason, but I love this. Any peachy pink. This shade reminds me of California. So if you've always wanted to try Benefits California, but you don't want to pay $30 and you don't feel comfortable stealing something, this is like dead on California. Next let's do the Perla, Dolce Perla Baked Highlighter. I'm pretty sure this is like on the newer side. Like it's, the undertone isn't 100% perfect for me, but I don't hate it. But I feel like all of the undertones for that line, none of them were completely perfect for me. It's pretty though. And let's try Flat White. Samantha Ravndahl loved this. And because she's Samantha Ravndahl, it was discontinued, because that's just what happens when you're Samantha Ravndahl. I can't remember if she actually put this over stuff or just used it on its own. I don't know. You know what this reminds me of? See Through by MAC. That was an amazing nude gloss. I don't know if they make it anymore, but I used to love that gloss before I realized I don't like gloss. But that was an amazing gloss. This is beautiful. Glad I picked up two. First I was like, I don't need two. I'll never finish this gloss. It's probably not gonna be that good anyway. It's good. It's kind of like Dead Lip, but in a gloss. I kind of love this. All right, so that was it. What did you think? What was your favorite thing that we used today? All right, I am gonna do a check-in at the end of the day and show you how everything sits on my face. I kind of love how this looks. I'll also let you know my thoughts on how everything wore throughout the end of the day. In the comments below, there'll be a pinned post after so many hours. So that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.